It is election day in Canada, and one of the major issues driving people to the polls is trade and our relationship with the United States. This morning, President Donald Trump is weighing in on the election, sending out a message on his social media platform. And the CBC's Richard Madden joins us now live from Washington with more on all of that. Okay, Richard, let's first talk about what Trump is saying on Canada's election day.
Yeah, President weighing into Election Day in Canada. But just for context, we have seen American politicians publicly endorse Canadian leaders in the past through their social media accounts. Of course, that's raised questions of election interference or meddling. So in the grand scheme of things, it isn't out of the ordinary. And President Donald Trump is injecting himself into Canada's election with a bit of trolling. Now, he didn't specifically endorse any candidate by name. Instead, he chose to push his 51st state nonsense on his social media site. Just let's pull it up now so we can read it. He says, "Good luck to the great people of Canada. Elect the man who has the strength and wisdom to cut your taxes in half, increase your military power for free to the highest level in the world, have your car, steel, aluminum, lumber, energy, and all other businesses quadruple in size with zero tariffs or taxes if Canada becomes the cherished 51st state of the United States of America. No more artificially drawn line from many years ago." Now, Trump goes on to say, to falsely claim that the U.S. subsidizes Canada, writing, "It makes no sense unless Canada is a state." Now, just yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio sidestepped a direct question whether his department has, quote, taken any steps to carry out Trump's annexation plans. Here's what he had to say.
They're going to have a new leader, and we'll deal with the new leadership of Canada. There are many things we work with cooperatively on Canada on, but we actually don't like the way they've treated us when it comes to trade. And the president has made that point when he responded to the previous prime minister in regards to this.
So does the U.S. still want to make Canada the 51st state?
I think the president has stated repeatedly he thinks Canada would be better off as a state.
Okay, so as I noted earlier, it's not unusual for a U.S. politician to weigh in on a Canadian election. Former President Barack Obama endorsed Justin Trudeau. Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders endorsed the NDP. And now we have Trump essentially endorsing himself. He's certainly not on the ballot in Canada, but he's definitely become a talking point and in some ways the elephant in the room.
And it's not the only message that we've heard come out of the White House today. This morning, the White House held a press conference. What did we hear on that front?
Yeah, so the White House is marking a key milestone because tomorrow marks Trump's first 100 days in office of his second term. So all week, the White House plans to highlight their greatest hits, their policy wins from their perspective. And this morning, border czar Tom Homan promoted the administration's record on immigration, where he dismissed criticisms of his mass deportations rollout, shipping migrants to a giant mega prison in El Salvador without due process, and arresting a judge accused of helping an illegal migrant evade authorities. Listen to this.
It's because of what has happened on the last administration. We got to ensure that not 1 ounce of fentanyl comes across the border to kill Americans. This is the biggest national security failure this country's ever seen. This is the border emergency until we end all of it. We're making good strides. Right now, it's still an emergency until we shut it down.
Now, a whole series of polls this weekend actually show Trump's approval rating at this stage of his 100-day mark the lowest in 7 decades. An average of some 59% of Americans disapprove of his presidency. He's below water on almost every issue: handling the economy, relations with other countries, tariffs, and general management. But perhaps the only bright spot is that Trump is polling better than congressional Democrats on the issue of trust. Now, tomorrow, Trump will hold a rally in battleground Michigan to officially mark his 100 days in office as the so-called grace period of his presidency symbolically turns the corner.